So we're here at a semi-annual children's consignment sale. So you definitely want to see if you have these in your area of the country. And I'm in North Carolina, and we have quite a few of these in our area, but these can be a great place to source for reselling. And so these sales will often open up on a given day. And certainly helps to be there early, but a day that I like to come is half price day. So generally as the week progresses, the prices on these items will come down, and most of them will have a half price day, and each individual consignor that signs up to participate in this semi-annual consignment sale will choose on their tags whether they want to donate or not.
What?
And you should be able to tell by the tag if, not donate, but discount. And you should be able to tell by the tag if the consignor is doing that, and if they do, then normally that item would be half off. So we're going to go in here, and Lainey and I, see what we can find today. So the first thing I'll tell you about this place is it is absolutely massive, and this video will not do it justice. So the first thing I start out with is the toys. And so I'm always looking for things that are sealed, and I found these weirdos. And that's literally what they're called. So I thought they were interesting. So I think these were maybe like $1.50, $2.50. They are on discount. If you can see in the bottom right, that indicates that it's going to be half off today. So I ended up picking those up. The next thing that I saw is this little guy, this robot. I thought he was pretty cool. And it looks like he would have been $5 on discount. I looked up some comps on eBay. Not really the greatest seller. Pretty cool little find though. And then same thing with this Star Wars mask or helmet, whatever you want to call it. Just really wasn't worth picking up. Another disclosure that I'll give you is that I'm having to do this as a voiceover just because in the background there is music that is likely copywritten. So I didn't want to have my video muted again. I learned my lesson on the We Got Hosed video where I did get muted for a bit, but I continue to look through these toys, and sometimes these little Disney figures will lock together well. Always checking out Thomas. The actual figures generally do better than the tracks and things of that nature, but I did look at these and didn't really feel like any of those were worth picking up for reselling at least. Another really cool thing about these sales is if they have enough space like this one, they will allow some home good type items in, which is really cool. And so this Calphaline set was $50 originally, but it was on discount. So $25 for a 12-piece Calphaline set is really what I thought is a good pickup. So I think we'll do pretty well with these. And so I'll try to give you an idea of what I think these will sell for towards the end of the video. And so beside of those Calphaline sets were these little slow cooker or warmers, which would actually be really cool to have for Thanksgiving. But I looked up comps on this. It's big, it's bulky, and they really don't sell for a ton, at least in the resale game. So I did leave those behind. So I did look at this Logitech keyboard, and I opened it up, and it is completely sealed on the inside. So I did end up buying this. Anything that's sealed can make all the difference in the world between maybe almost being worthless or possibly being worth a lot. I think one of the batteries was possibly corroded in there, but I don't think that it'll matter. That had really good comps. And so I'll show you also at the end what I think that will sell for. This item right here has the potential to be the find of the day. And if I would have seen it on the first night, I would have probably bought it at $15. So this Fanimation fan is $7.50. It's called the Wind Point. And when I look in here, I think everything in here is just about sealed. I will need to go in and take some inventory just to make 100% sure, but it may blow your mind, pun intended, on what this may sell for. So definitely stay tuned to the end to check that out. So this was also sealed, and so anything that's sealed you'll see as a common theme I like to look at, and that would have been pretty cheap, but it literally had no comparable sales. So I decided to leave that. Now we sold a ton of these range extenders in the past, and so I thought this was a pretty good price and a pretty good find. So I did end up buying that. So check out these clothing racks. I mean, this place was absolutely insane with racks. And so if you've never shopped at these, coming from a family of 6 of us with 4 kids, consignment sales have always been a lifesaver when it comes to stocking up for your children's clothing needs. So I did step over to the electronic side. I saw this Sonic game. It was a little pricey for reselling, so did decide to leave it. It did have some decent sales with it. There's this Wii that would have been $75, but again, $75, especially for a Wii with nothing with it, probably not the best thing. Maybe a decent deal if you just wanted one for your family. And so I continued to scan through these electronics, and this guy did catch my eye, and I believe this is for a PS4, and so I did end up picking that up. I also looked at this printer because sometimes like the cartridges and things of that nature can be just as good as the printer itself, and it did have some items that came with it, but used printers have an extremely high return rate, so typically try to stay away from those unless I'm confident they'll work or they sell well for parts. Also found this GPS unit that was originally $25 but $12.50 on half price day, so it was all complete, maybe a little higher than I'd like to pay, but I did end up picking that up as it did have a decent sell through. So as I make my way through this place, you can start to get an idea of the extent of how massive this place is. And so I'm making my way over to the shoe section, and let's check out what I find here. So as I scan the shoe section, I'm always looking for anything that I think is a unique colorway or anything that just happens to catch my eye. And so the first thing I found is these little guys, and they were so cool, but they really didn't have the best sell-through, and they would have been $6, but I thought those were neat. I thought they would really do well, but I decided to leave those. However, right beside of those are these little baby Jordans, and so those will be $5 today, and I did look these up. They do pretty well, so I did end up grabbing these little guys. I always like to check the wear and the tread. It's so easy to grab shoes that when you get home or you get to your car, you start seeing damage on them. So I do like to check them out pretty well to make sure there's no rips or tears or anything along those lines. I did look at these as well, but these were going to be $50, and that's probably realistically what you could maybe sell those for. And these right here, you can't get a lot more unique than this, and so I so wanted these to be very good. These would have been $10, but they just weren't. And so that's the thing, is that those Air Maxes I thought would be worth it, but I decided to leave those. And I just, continue to scan through various pairs of shoes, but these are Air Maxes that aren't in as good a shape, smaller size, but they did have a pretty good sell-through, and so I believe these were $5 and in excellent shape on the bottom. So I did decide to buy these little Air Maxes. Also checked out several of these cleats that were for sale, but nothing really that I thought that would be worth it. These FootJoys were super nice. They were just probably a little more expensive than I wanted to pay. Definitely a good deal for your child though, if you wanted some good golf shoes. I've had a ton of success selling FootJoys in the past. Also looked at these Jordans, and they weren't probably in quite as good a shape as some of the others. Doesn't mean that they may not be worth it, but I did decide to leave these guys as well. The next thing that I saw here are these Crocs, and so these are going to be $3, and Crocs are just in extremely high demand. I feel like what I've heard is that they're selling out on their website and things of that nature, so these will not sell for a lot or a ton, but they should sell fast once we get them listed. So I make my way over to the girls/women's shoes, and again, just looking for anything that has like a unique colorway that maybe catches my eyes. So these Sperry's are good, but they were probably a little bit more expensive than I wanted to pay, and so I do come over here and see a couple things that catch my eye. Obviously, these Jordans right here, or these Nike Airs, I should say, not Jordans, I thought were really cool. At least not for me, but maybe someone else. Those are $8, so I did end up buying these. And these are actual Jordans, so I did end up buying these Jordans, and I think online they're marketed as boy shoes. So I think these ended up being $3.50. So again, hard to go wrong buying Jordans for that much. Finally, I found these Merrells. Merrells can be a really good brand to resell, especially the hiking boots, but I did decide to leave these behind. So I want to show you some of the things that I got at the half price at the Sell Again Children's Consignment Sale. And just full disclosure, my wife, Katrina, and myself used to run one of these, mainly one of these sales, and mainly my wife ran it. And but nonetheless, that's the reason that I do have some intimate knowledge about these consignment sales, and there's so many around. So definitely check your area, and if you're in our area, definitely check out Sell Again Children's Consignment Sale. In my opinion, it's the best in the area, and I will have the link to their website in the description. But just to show you what you can do on the half price day, I would highly encourage you to go on the opening day. We did well on opening day, but I didn't really film a whole lot on that particular day, so I'm going to show you what you could do just on a half price. So the first thing that I bought, and one thing I'll tell you, is that some of these sales, if they have enough room, they will start selling maybe some home goods and decor and things of that nature that may not be related to children per se. So I bought this 12-piece used pre-owned Calphalon set. And so it was originally $50, but at half price it was $25. And so we'll probably lot this up. And one mark of someone that takes care of their things is when they still have the box and they still have all the wrappers and everything. So I don't know how we'll do with this. I'll do some research and try to throw some comps up on the screen of what a 12-piece set would do. But I think it's maybe like 8 pots and 4 lids and to comprise of that 12-piece set. So this could have been my find of the day for half price at this consignment sale. This Fanimation fan was originally $15, which if I would have seen it originally, I would have bought it at $15. But at half price was $7.50. And I believe this is completely new, but there is a comp that sold for over $400 on this thing, and there's several listings in the $400 range. So if this truly sells in that range, super stoked. $7.50 into $300 to $400 right off the bat. So this has the potential to really be the best find of the half price at the consignment sale. So the next thing that I purchased for $2.50, this was $5 and half off at $2.50, is this range extender, even pre-owned, and I'm not sure if this thing's been used before or not. Maybe if you're the consignor that had this, you can let me know. But these will probably sell for around $30, even pre-owned. We've sold these before, and they used to just fly off the shelf within like minutes of listing. A little slower now, but definitely worth a buy at $2.50. This next find was a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse from Logitech, and it is completely sealed. The only issue is that it looks like one of these batteries, which are still sealed, may have corroded, but I don't think this will affect the value. And I think these things still sell for like $50, $60. We'll put some comps on the screen to confirm that. So yeah, definitely a good find for $7.50, originally $15. The next thing that I'll show you that I purchased, and these were each $2.50, originally $5 a piece, so $5 for both of these, were these weirdos toys that are completely sealed. And one of these, I can't remember which one, I think does a little bit better than the other. These actually, one of these had a really good sell-through. So for $2.50, especially with Q4 coming up where items that are sealed can do well, I thought that was worth it, and I will show you some comparables for that. And then this Rock Band 2, I think was $1.50 or something along those lines. And Rock Band 2, probably not worth picking up on its own, but when you buy a lot of Rock Band sets and guitars like we do, it's always good to have these available because it makes them much more attractive if you pair the guitars or the sets with the game. So we will probably save this until we have a set to sell and throw that in with it. The next item I found, and I believe I paid $9 for this, it was originally $18 if I'm not mistaken, and I'll have to go back and look at the tags, but this is a PS4 game, but really the value here is in this gun or whatever this thing is called, and not really the game, but we may sell them together. So I can't remember exactly what it's called, like point and aim or point and shoot or something along those lines. So I was happy to find that because the comps on this gun alone, even pre-owned, were really good. I also bought this GPS system, and this may not have been the best buy, but I think we'll do okay with this. I believe this was $12.50. Originally, this was $25 if I'm not mistaken. And so the reason I bought this though is because it's complete. It looks like it has lifetime maps. Also has this the instruction manual, of course the unit, and then it also has the mount and the cords. So with this all being complete with the original box, I decided to take a chance with this for $12.50 for this GPS unit. The next items I found were all shoes, and so I paid $24, I believe, for all of these, give or take. I believe these Crocs were $3, and so these Crocs were in excellent condition, just need to be wiped down slightly. And for whatever reason, Crocs are in short supply right now, especially for the kid sizes, because the sell-through on these things was really good. They won't sell for a lot of money, maybe $20, $25 or so, but for $3 to turn it into $20, we'll definitely take that. One of my favorite finds are always Air Maxes. These things are awesome. I believe I paid $5 for those. I may have even considered picking those up for $10 if I would have seen them. I got these Jordans also, I believe, for these actually may have been $3 and some change if I'm not mistaken. And then I bought these for $7, $8, and I just thought they were a very unique colorway, which is the reason they kind of caught my eye. And so I don't know how we'll do with these, but I'll try to flash some comps up on the screen, and we'll see how they do. Again, definitely not my style, but I think that those unique colorways are something that you always want to look for, especially in like Nikes or brands that do well. And then these are little Jordans, and so I actually comped these out, and they do pretty well. Not for a ton of money, but I believe I paid $5 for these, if I'm not mistaken. So definitely happy with the shoe find at the consignment sale. So here's our results on the half price day alone. We spent around $100 on all the items seen, and I estimate that conservatively that we'll sell around $900 total. That's an estimated gross profit before fees of $800. Not bad for a little bit of time sourcing some items, and probably the best kept secret in reselling. So I definitely encourage you to check these out, whether you want to sell items for yourself, shop for your family, or look for items to resell. Consignment sales are an awesome resource for this. Hey, if you enjoy content like this, please be sure to hit like and subscribe, and we'd be certainly blessed if you did. See you next time.